What's going on, everyone? It's Omar BYT back again with another episode of the Barcelona News Roundup. Today, we don't really have a lot to talk about. I'm going to do a preview of the El Clasico game, which is tomorrow or today, if wherever you are. And we're going to do the Barcelona review of the game between Barcelona and Manchester City, where we drew 2-2 and won on penalties. And we're going to talk about the final updates of the Nico Williams deal. And finally, are we going to be getting Dani Olmo very, very soon? Stay tuned, guys, and let's go. All right, so before we get started with the Barcelona News Roundup, guys, listen, please, guys, like the video, subscribe, and please, guys, put your comments in the comment section below, guys, because I like interacting with some of the people who do comments. Please state your opinions in some of the things I talk about in the game, in the news roundup, transfers, and everything. Your opinions, please, guys, put it on the comments. And remember, guys, like and subscribe. So let's get started, guys. First thing I would like to talk about is the Manchester City-Barcelona game that we saw on Tuesday, where we drew 2-2 and we won on penalties. Now, I didn't actually watch the game because I was working, but I did go back and actually catch the game later on. And I will say this, right? We played a completely rotated team, which is not a surprise. Most of our players are out and some of them are in the Olympics. And some of them played in the international tournaments in the Euros and the Copa America. So as a result, Hansi Flick brought a completely rotated lineup. And let's be honest, they did a good job. I'm not going to lie. I was very, very, very impressed with the team because we played a very, very good Manchester City team. They had a lot of their first team players in the team against us, and we really handled it well. A lot of us, I'll be honest, when I saw the lineup, I didn't see us doing well against them, but we were very, very impressive, and I was very, very happy about that. A few players really, really, really impressed me throughout that game. I would like to talk about that midfield of Casado and Bernal because they were actually very, very good in that game. I was very, very impressed with them. Pau Victor, our new signing, actually played very, very well. I was very, very impressed with him. Pablo Torre continued his good form. He scored in our last game in the against Esportiva, and he scored again against Manchester City. And we played very, very well, and we won on penalties. I was very, very happy about that. The goalkeeper also did very, very well in the game. I was very, very impressed. I don't know really what to expect anymore as far as just during this preseason because we haven't seen a lot of the first teamers. I mean, we did see a few of the first teamers. Lewandowski came in, so we saw a little bit of him in the game. But apart from that, really, I don't really have much to talk about in that game. There wasn't really much that happened. I was very, very impressed. I was very, very happy with the way we played. And listen, I'm very, very happy with the formation as well. We played the 4-2-3-1, which is Hansi Flick's favorite formation. That is his go-to formation. And also, I did like the way we were going forward. Like there was a lot of straightforwardness in the way we were playing as far as going forward was concerned. So yeah, guys, I hope that we can continue this in the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is the preview of the Barcelona Real Madrid El Clasico game, which is tomorrow for me because it's Friday for me over here. But the game will be tomorrow. I plan on going live to watch the game. But what can I say about that game against Real Madrid? Now, Real Madrid actually brought a very, very good lineup in their last game. I was actually very surprised. A lot of their starting players came in that game. We saw Rudiger was in that game. Modric started in that game. We saw players like Endrick, and I think Gula also started also, and so did Diaz. If I'm wrong, I think he also started in their game against AC Milan. And unfortunately for them, they did lose the game. But I didn't really catch up much to the game. But yeah, they basically have a much more better team as far as the players that they brought into this preseason is concerned. And I do believe that we'll probably see players like a Lewandowski start in the game against Real Madrid. So we'll see about that. I expect to see a good game. Last season, we did play them in the preseason, and we won 3-0. Fermin Lopez, that was the game where he really showed out in that basically tournament, in that preseason games. Now that is over, I would like to talk about a few things that just came out. Now, according to Fabrizio Romano, which was just a breaking news more than like an hour or two ago, It seems that Oriol Romeo is gone. He's gone back to Girona. He's going out on loan. I think it is on loan with an option to buy probably. But yeah, he's actually someone who's been linked to Girona. Girona have actually stated their intent in wanting to bring him back to the club. And I will say this, right? And I kind of alluded to this yesterday during my life. Unfortunately for me, when I'm looking at the team right now, I look at that midfield and I'm very, very worried because we don't have any options in that midfield. Now, I'm going to talk about him very, very soon, but really, if you look at like our first game against Valencia, we'll have no De Jong. Gavi will probably not be fit before then. And also, Pedri is out. So we don't really have a lot of key players who are going to be in that game against Valencia. And now that Romeu is gone, that means that we're gonna have to focus. We're gonna rely on players like a Casado, like a Bernal in those first games. So what will we see in those games? We will see what happens. But listen, Oriol Romeu leaving. I'll be honest, I didn't see him really playing much this season. And listen, if Girona basically gave him opportunities because Girona are in the Champions League this season. If they're going to give him opportunities to play, I can see why he would like the move. Now, to go to another transfer that we've been talking about probably for the last 2 weeks, and it's been very, very, very stressful as a Barcelona fan, really talking about this because I've been talking about it in the last two roundups I did. And that would be Nico Williams. Now, this is probably going to be most likely the last time we'll probably talk about him because it seems that now, after all of the talk, it seems that he's likely to stay. It seems that he's going to stay at Bilbao for another year. That is the plan. And I feel like we've really put a lot of like focus on the Nico Williams and less on like a second option for him. And that is what is very, very stressful as a Barcelona fan because the whole thing was about Nico Williams being the statement signing. Okay, but there was no other players that we could have put as second options. Like I know people were looking at Luis Diaz, we were looking at Xavi Simons. These were two players that we were looking at, but we didn't look at them really too much in the transfer window. But really now, what are we going to do now that Nico Williams is likely to stay at Barcelona? At Athletic Bilbao? What are we going to do? This is what is interesting now. Are we going to go back for a Xavi Simons? Are we going to go back in for Luis Diaz? Nobody knows. So we'll definitely have to take a look at that. And finally, we're going to talk about the one that is likely to happen, and that will be Dani Olmo. So, according to Fabrizio Romano, we have actually offered these guys, Leipzig, 62 million. And apparently we've agreed deal with personal terms with Dani Olmo, a 6-year deal, which will keep him at the club until 2030. And it's no surprise. We already knew that Dani Olmo was open. He wants the Barcelona move. He wants to return back to Spain. He wants to return back to his home club. And I'll say this is going to be a very, very interesting to see because according to Fabrizio Romano, it seems likely that Leipzig are going to reject this offer that we're giving them. Now, I don't know how much Leipzig are basically looking for, how much they want for Dani Olmo, because 60 million is basically what his buyout clause was, which honestly, now thinking about it, is very, very crazy because I did talk about it on my first edition of the Barcelona News Roundup, which was that he did have a buyout clause which we let expire. So now we actually have to play ball with Leipzig. So what's gonna happen now with the Dani Olmo move? Is it still gonna happen? Because it's likely to happen now that we've already agreed a personal terms with them. Now it's only down to Barcelona and Leipzig. What is gonna happen there? What are we gonna do now? Because it seems that they are really, really, really standing on their ground. I don't really know how much they're asking for. They're probably gonna ask for an extra 10 million probably. But that is the case now, according to Fabrizio Romano. Dani Olmo, the deal is likely to happen because we've already agreed personal terms and now it's only down to the two clubs. And honestly, I really want this deal to happen because it's the 2nd of August and we've still not signed a player and it's beginning to get really stressful. It's time for us to start stepping up because we are trying to challenge Real Madrid for the league. But right now, we are much weaker than we were last season and it's not looking good. So we really need to step up, guys. this is what I really have to say about that. We really need to step up, because it's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult right now looking at Real Madrid, at the team that they have, and us just standing up with our hands on our pockets, guys. So yeah, guys, that's really what I wanted to talk about today on the Barcelona News Roundup, guys. Listen, guys, please like the video, subscribe, and remember, guys, comment your opinions on the comment section below. And listen, take care of yourself, and peace, you guys.